Hi, and welcome back to the Daily Runner Show. I'm Claire Ganifke.
And I'm James Shannon. This past weekend was full of much excitement. We had the Real Dreams Film Competition, the Center for Global Justice Symposium, the Society of Professional Journalists Conference, and Elon, North Carolina.
It certainly was an eventful weekend. So what did you do this weekend, James?
Well, I was working on a script and worked on a film set and did some exercising.
Wow, sounds like a fantastic week.
It was fun.
Well, this past weekend, March 29th through March 31st, Regent University sponsored its first annual Center for Global Justice Symposium regarding media and the law. Seeking Justice for the Least of These was sponsored by Operation Blessing and Orphan's Promise.
The students and community congregated together at Regent to network with hundreds of government leaders, film producers, human rights advocates, community representatives, and other human rights advocates. Let's hear what some of the attendees had to say.
This is Rebecca Brittingham, and it's a Thursday evening, the first night of a 3-day conference being held at Regent University. The conference that's going on is called Media and the Law, Seeking Justice for the Least of These. And this evening was the evening with the filmmakers. And I have a very special guest with me this evening. His name is Mr. Villar. Mr. Villar, would you mind sharing with us a little bit about your ministry that you have in Mexico?
We rule a safe home with a restoration program in Mexico City.
Okay.
And this day especially, we share our experience with I Empathize organization, that we film so many different stories, and we believe that this kind of work can make a real awareness against human trafficking.
And how has this particular evening affected you?
We want to create a social movement that everybody can know, everybody can fight. So we think that for the first thing, not involved in this kind of issue, educate the other ones and advocate the victims, we can finish with the human trafficking.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Villar. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Perhaps you enjoy your daily routine of studying, working, and more studying. Nathan Stump not only holds the title of full-time student, but he also works in the ordinary, plays basketball and soccer, works on film sets, plus, well, there may be something else. Let's find out.
A day in life for me consists of a lot of busyness and a lot of transitions. This fall, I started out with a little bit more time than now. It wasn't too much on my plate. Right now, this spring, I'm producing, I'm working at the Regent Ordinary, I'm trying to play intramural sports sometimes, played basketball earlier, now soccer, and just trying to balance the social life with that. And then next semester, it just kind of keeps piling up. Next semester, I'll be an RA for the residence halls and try and juggle everything else with that. So I think it takes a lot of balance, especially being a cinema television major. You got so much going for you, and especially doing like producing the stuff. So I think a lot of times it just takes a lot of being on your knees and praying to God that you will have the help and the wisdom to know what you can handle and what you can't handle, because it's so easy to just get completely stressed out and to block everyone out of your life and just say I gotta do things, when in the end it's people that matter, not your academics not as much. Obviously it's just people all the way. So keeping that in perspective is really important, I think, for any student here.
Another matter of concern is the issue of college tuition. The downfall of the economy has caused college tuition to skyrocket. As a result, more and more students are forced to take out student loans. Although this is a temporary solution to pay for schooling, it can leave behind a permanent and devastating consequence: debt.
In the State of the Union address, President Obama urges states to lower tuition for higher education in hopes that a more educated workforce will boost the economy.
A college degree is essential to the growth of a nation's economy, yet the cost of higher education has risen sharply.
No issue will have a bigger impact on the future performance of our economy than education.
According to federal student aid, it takes an average of 30 years for students to pay back their loans.
The average debt load in 2011 for all Regent graduates was a little over $69,000. So thinking about these students that are coming out of school with these huge debt loads and no jobs, and yet they have loan repayment, really creates a catch-22 for them. So, we definitely do need to make education affordable, and we definitely need to be thinking long-term for the benefit of our overall economy, our competitiveness in a global economy.
In the State of the Union, the President called on Congress to keep interest rates low for 7.4 million young people who use the help of financial aid.
President Obama is pushing for a $1 billion investment for state governments to reorganize financing for higher education and to help students graduate on time.
We all want Americans getting those jobs of the future. So we're going to have to make sure that they're getting the education that they need.
One of the reasons that I believe our economy has been so hard hit is that a lot of people really did not know how to adjust or how to adapt to different kinds of work and to changing times. And I think that the more education that you have, I think the more flexible you can be. You know how to handle different situations. You can jump into different careers.
Flora Crew, Regent News, Virginia Beach.
While in the midst of a busy schedule that follows most college students, often the thought of cooking is not really their top priority. Cooking has almost become a lost art. Sometimes students say they don't have the time, they're just too busy, or it's too expensive and complicated. However, Lily Wilson not only serves as an RA, but she's a full-time student and has mastered the art of cooking food that is quick, easy, and perfect for those on a budget.
My name is Lily Wilson, and I am a student here at Regent in the Biblical Studies major.
Okay.
And I'm the RA for Foundation Hall's second floor girls, so it's been a really wonderful experience so far.
So what are we going to be making tonight?
Well, today we're making a pasta. It's a fettuccine carbonara with spring peas, so it's sort of seasonal, you know, peas that are just fresh, and also it's got some pancetta in it, which is a kind of Italian cured bacon. You can just use normal bacon as well, but this stuff is a bit more tangy, I guess. And also there's mint in it and some Parmesan. And the carbonara part, which is when you add egg and cream in at the last minute to the hot pasta, and then it cooks that way. It makes sort of a cream sauce. Yes. And then also on the side, we're going to have some garlic bread made with an Asiago cheese loaf. And then also we have an arugula lemon salad.
So what do we do first?
Well, first off, I'm going to start out with the garlic bread. So I'm just going to preheat actually to 450, and I'm going to put the water on to boil. So I just got a loaf of bread from the store. You can find anything that looks yummy and nice. And then you just want to cut it in half lengthwise. And then we can go ahead and cut about probably between like 2.5 to 3 tablespoons of butter. It seems like a lot of butter, but it really soaks in. So you want as much as you can get. And then also we have garlic. And one easy way to actually cut the garlic, and you know these annoying little outer shells that seem almost impossible to get off, is you can just put your knife over it and bang your fist down on it. And it's so easy to get the outer portion off at that point. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is mince it. So that means just cutting it. I'm just going to slice it at first. Watch your fingers. It's an important thing. But yeah, and you also want to add salt. If you're not using salted butter, you can just add salt to it. So I've got some pepper and salt in there, and then we've got garlic and butter. And so I'm just going to throw this in the microwave for about 15 seconds at first. So you want to just not yet melted, but you can just touch it and see how much more time it's going to need, because it's probably going to need about the same amount more time. So now we have this nice melted butter and garlic, and the good thing about it being hot in the microwave is that it started to cook the garlic a little bit, so that flavor will kind of seep into the butter. So what you do is pretty much just kind of, you could scoop some of your garlic on there. So I've got just Parmesan cheese that's shredded. You can get that at the grocery store, or you can buy it in a block and shred it yourself either. So I'm just going to set this aside for now. We'll put it in the oven towards the time that the pasta is done, so that it has some time to crisp up. Now we're going to start the salad. So we're going to use a little bit of arugula. Okay. Just a little. And then We're also going to add in some baby lettuces, so that could be anything you wanted it to be. If you want to add some romaine lettuce in, you can. If you want to add, I don't know, whatever you feel comfortable with adding into your salad. So we have lettuce now, and then what we're going to do is we are going to put lemon on it, as well as olive oil, and some Parmesan and salt and pepper, and that's pretty much all the dressing is, and it's really easy. So right now, I'm just going to roll this lemon a little bit, because like it kind of gets the juices flowing inside. So I'm just going to zest a little bit. I have this nice zester. If you've got some sort of grater, that'll work fine. And make sure when you're zesting that you don't zest the white parts. Now we will cut the lemon in half. You're going to try and get all the juice out of there that you can. And then I'm going to put some pepper on there, because pepper really goes with the flavor of the arugula. So a little salt. A little
Nice
bit.
and simple.
Yes. And then, of course, you can put some Parmesan cheese on top, just a little bit, because cheese is always delicious. Alright, so that's all ready to go when we're ready to go. Alright, so right now we're going to get started on our pasta, or fettuccine carbonara with spring peas. Half a cup of heavy cream with an egg. And that's going to go in last, but I'm going to do this now so it's all ready by the time that we need it. And while that's waiting, we're going to salt our water, salt the pasta, and then I'm going to put in the pasta. So we have some bow ties. Stir that around a little bit, and then it'll start to cook. Okay. So also, we're going to put in our pancetta into a pan, and we're going to turn it on to about medium, medium low. All right, so I've just put the garlic bread in the oven, and the pancetta is still cooking away, as are the noodles. Okay. And the noodles only have a few more minutes left, so I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle these peas in there so they have some time to boil away. Strain this. So our bacon is pretty much done here. We're just going to let this sit for a minute or two, because we have to actually chop up some mint before we put everything together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add in almost all of it, just leave a little bit on the side for the end. So I'm going to throw that in with the pasta, and then I'm just going to put all the pasta in with the pancetta. Then we're going to actually add our heavy cream and egg. So what you need to do at this point is make sure that you're stirring right away. So just pour all of that in, and then keep stirring, because you don't want the egg to scramble. About whatever you've got left in your box, it's probably going to be a cup to a cup and a half. You can just sprinkle that over.
Add it all in.
So right now I've just stirred in some Parmesan cheese. We've got about 2 cups in there. So now we have our meal prepared. We've got our pasta, we've got our salad, and we've got our garlic bread.
Well, I really appreciate this. I'm inspired and ready to do a lot more cooking myself. I enjoy cooking, but a real simplistic meal is always the way to go. Thank you all so much for joining us here on the Daily Runner Show. And we're actually going to be starting a regular cooking segment. And Lily Wilson is going to be joining us again next time. And she'll be sharing with us another cooking recipe of some sort that you yourselves might be able to incorporate into your regular cooking lifestyle. And so anyway, stay tuned and we'll see you next time.
Lily will be joining us quite regularly, teaching us some of the secrets to healthy cooking.
Last Thursday hosted a special combined chapel with CBN featured speaker Bishop T.D. Jakes, founder and senior pastor of the Potter's House in Dallas, Texas. Has more than 30,000 members, over 50 outreach ministries. Mr. and Mrs. Jakes together have touched the lives of millions around the globe through various humanitarian projects, relief efforts, community service initiatives, and record-breaking conferences.
Coming up next is a new segment entitled The Film Corner, where 2 students in the Cinema Television Department here at Regent University review and critique a new film that is out in theaters now.
You are a toy! Run, Forrest, run!
He's looking at you, kid.
Hello and welcome to the Film Corner. I'm Zach Solberg, a CTV undergrad here at Regent University.
And I'm Ermont, also a CTV undergrad here at Regent.
The Film Corner is a new segment where me and my co-critic Ermont review and analyze a new film out in theaters. This week we're reviewing Disney's latest film, John Carter.
keeps me from dancing with the one I love.
Our world is dying. Fate has brought you here, John Carter.
My mind holds the key.
You may be the only one who can save us.
The film John Carter is a big-budget science fiction action adventure based on the novel by Edgar Rice Burroughs. The film follows a former military captain, John Carter, played by Taylor Kitsch. Carter is mysteriously transported to Mars, where he becomes a part of a war conflict. Carter befriends one of the leaders of Mars, voiced by Willem Dafoe, and works together with the princess, played by Lynn Collins. Throughout his adventure, Carter slowly realizes the purpose of it being there, and uses the power given to him to help save the people of Mars. So Zach, what did you think of the film?
Well, Armand, I guess the film didn't quite cut it for me. The phrase "close but no cigar" is what was coming to mind at the end of the film.
Right.
There's just a great adventure story, but amidst that, I felt the performances weren't very good. And I know you're supposed to leave your critic badge at the door for big blockbusters like this, but it actually stuck out to me that much. And I was wondering if the actors not being able to give to their fullest potential was not just the bad dialogue, but this director, Andrew Stanton, who worked with Disney Pixar before to make WALL-E, which is a great film but has very little dialogue. And I'm wondering if that was maybe the reason why the actors, he wasn't used to directing actual actors and not just animation. But overall, I mean, the film is, there's a lot of adventure in it, and it's very fun, but I felt the cliched overpowered
Yes, I totally agree.
The clever moments, the well-shot, well-edited moments, which there are some in the film, no doubt.
My biggest concern with the film is that I think it had an identity crisis. It didn't know when to jump from one emotion to the next. You know, they had a moment with a princess where it's kind of like, oh, it's hokey, fun, and kind of humorous, but 2 seconds later, she has a serious moment with her father, which totally was not balanced at all.
Yeah.
So I had a problem with the tone of the movie overall.
Well, Irma, I think there's something definitely to appreciate about this film, and putting kind of like the flaws I had aside, nevertheless, it is one nonstop adventure. And it's really rare, just the feel of the grandeur and the spectacle that this film had. Not necessarily the amount of money that was spent on it, but just this constant, cowboys, distant planets, all this adventure that's going on. And there's something to really appreciate there, you know what I mean?
I'm going to have to agree with you because I feel like it's one of those movies where you're going to appreciate more than you actually like. Despite the obvious...
You're going to have a lot of fun.
Despite the obvious narrative flaws, there's a bunch of things to like about it. You got nice CGI, good action sequences. So I think it's a pretty solid film.
Right. And just one quick thing. If I had $1 every time Mark Strong was the villain in a movie, it's particularly in the last 5 years, he's always popping up in there. Right. Yeah, I mean, he's a strong actor, but he's just very, very repetitive. I mean, overall, what would you say that would you give this film?
I would give it a fairly lenient B-.
All right, that's good. I'm close to you there. I'm kind of in the middle. I'm giving it a C+. Okay. Didn't quite cut it for me. I said that before, but that's all I'm feeling.
Definitely rented at least.
Right on. Yes, definitely a rent. So all right, a B-, C+. And that about wraps up at the Film Corner. I'm Zach Solberg.
I'm Irma Murati.
And next time, we'll see you at the movies.
Across America, many struggle in the face of financial hardship, broken families, and violent and dangerous neighborhoods. What can we do in response to these needs? How can we effectively answer the call to seek welfare of the city?
Seek the Welfare of the City is a 2-night event that will equip participants to respond effectively to needs in their community and beyond. This is an event that you will not want to miss.
Thank you for joining us on the Daily Runner Show.
Join us next time to find out what the recipe of the week will be and much more. I'm Claren Ganifke.
And I'm James Shannon.
And from all of us here at the Daily Runner, we hope you have a fabulous week.
Take care.